soul symbols. My name is Shelley. I'm a writer, an astrologer, and a card reader. And if you are familiar with my channel, I normally post on Tuesdays and on Saturdays with a How to Tarot series and a weekly energies on Saturday. But today, in celebration of Halloween, I wanted to do something very special. I'm super excited about this. I've been waiting for weeks to do this reading. What it is today we're going to do a special reading on just kind of a fun, playful, who is your inner monster? So yes, so as you see here, we have some fun cards laid out for you. So what we're going to do in a very playful way is we're going to pick cards to determine who is your inner monster. We know you're Jekyll. What's your Hyde side? Let's find out. So the cards that we're going to use today is I have 5 stacks here, and what this is this is just a board game called Campy Creatures. And it's I'll put the description, everything in the description box below. But one thing I love to do, and if you watch a lot of my videos, I talk about my mom all the time. And one of my activities, one of the things that I love to do with my mom all the time is there is this TV show that plays the old film noir movies, like, you know, Abbott and Costello meets the Wolfman, and it's a show called Svengoolie, and we used to watch it all the time together before she moved pretty far away. But I got really inspired by that, and what it is the Campy Creatures. Every one of these piles has a different kind of ghoulish face, and as you've seen, I put a different ghoul on each pile, and I'll let you see the piles. But what it is that each of the piles has a famous movie monster. You got the Blob, we got the Mummy, we got everything in here. We got vampires, and we got Bride of Frankenstein over here. But Frankenstein is sadly not in these decks, just so you know. But and what I'm going to do is all of the same monsters are in each of these piles. And you know, one of them has I put the Egyptian eye with the mummy, and we'll go through this. But each of the piles has the same movie monsters in it. And what I'm going to do is you pick a pile based on your favorite, you know, what you're drawn to. Go with your intuition as usual. And what I will do is when we pick your monster, I will go ahead and pick 1 tarot card, 1 oracle card, 1 archetype card, and a dice. And this is the story dice that you see me use sometimes. This is Rory's story dice. And what we're going to do is with your reading, we're going to tell you who your inner monster is. So I'm really excited about this. The monster cards are Campy Creatures by Keymaster Games. The tarot cards is the Witch's Tarot by Dugan. The oracle is very similar to Lenormand, and it's actually the fairy tale fortune-telling cards by Liz Dean. And then the red cards, the archetype cards, are the archetype, archetype cards by Carolyn Myss. And all of the timestamps will be in the description box below, as well as all the names and for the authors and everything. So I'm excited. We have more piles than usual. As you can see, we have 5 piles, and normally we have 3. So I'm really excited to do this. The first pile is the Mummy. You can see it's got kind of the Egyptian eye, and I went ahead and put a mummy with that because I just thought that was a good match. And then the next one is kind of a green one. It kind of looks like the Swamp Thing, but I went ahead and paired a witch with it. And then your next card is, I loved this because I thought the really feminine looking eyes. And Bride of Frankenstein, who is my personal favorite. I don't know about you, she's just awesome. And then this was great. We went ahead and put the zombie with kind of the pink eyeball one. And last but not least, we got the red, and we got the Wolfman. Got the Wolfman. Sorry. Sorry, I'm getting in the mood. I'm posting this early too because I know if you're out trick-or-treating. I didn't get really dressed up. I'm kind of wearing work clothes, but I have to admit, I'm a little bit, I got pumpkin colors on and I'm wearing orange, so I hope that's all right. I hope that's festive enough. I'm not dressing up this year. I'm sorry. I wish. I know. I'm getting old and stodgy. All right. I'm going to go ahead and freeze the video. And again, I always ask, please, pick a deck based on your intuition. Maybe you like the color. Maybe it's your favorite monster. But whatever deck is kind of pulling towards you, go ahead and go with that deck. And I'll see you in a minute. Okay, I'm super excited. I don't know about you. I've been waiting like all month to do these. All right, deck number 2. I'm going to go ahead and just put the rest of our creatures to the side. So deck number 1, my mummy people. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and shuffle this. There's not very many cards, but you do have a few duplicates. Oh, you saw that, right? That's your monster. Who's your monster? You got the beast. Oh, look at that. You're a beast, pile 1. You're a beast. All right, and it looks like King Kong. It looks like King Kong. Okay, so your inner monster, pile 1, is the beast. So let's go ahead and get some clarification. You can get one. Oh, I knew this was gonna like just go. It's on like Donkey Kong, pun intended. All right. Pile number 1. What's your inner monster? Okay, this really wants to tap, so let me go ahead and go with that one. And your archetype. Hey, pile 1, we got a little cut off, but we didn't lose much, so I'm glad for that. But we were just talking about how, so you got, so your 3 oracle cards, you got the Hermit, which is the wizard-like guy who goes up to the mountaintop. This is introspection. This is the guy who pulls within or goes into, he goes into not hiding, but he pulls into himself to find the truth. He goes up to the mountaintops to find the truth. And then the next one, you got the 2 of Pentacles, and that's someone who juggles or has 2 major responsibilities going on. And then again, I've always said there's no bad cards in tarot. You got the Death card, and I actually kind of like this Death card. He actually looks a little he looks kind of badass, if I can say that on YouTube. He kind of reminds me of that Marvel character. Hey, pile 1, we're running into some tech issues, but we're gonna get through this. But I was saying how the Death card kind of reminds me of, I forget the name of it, but there's a Marvel character, there's a comic book character that has the flaming skull. It kind of reminds me of that. But I think the beast, I think your inner monster, and real quick, you got King Kong. Your dice is this this guy who kind of looks a little perplexed, not in a silly way, but he kind of has that investigative face, is what I like to call it. And then the 2 cards, and again, they're no bad cards, but you got the snake and you got the trickster. And you notice how much purple are in these 2. So what I'm seeing is, and what I'm kind of getting is, I think your inner monster and the fact that you like the mummy, when I see the mummy, I kind of feel like you just feel a little beat up. I think your inner monster ends up punishing you more than you care to admit. But, oh, okay, dude with no muffler makes an appearance in every video. Oh my God. All right, anyway. So I think when it talks about the, all right, dude, go. Okay, you see what I have to deal with. The beast, I think what it is about the beast is that he gives into his base desires. And I think that might be your inner demon, or that might be your inner monster. And I think it beats you up. I think you end up getting a little, you end up with more bandages from it than anything else. But what it is, and again, we were talking in the How to Tarot Magician about how the snake can be rebirth, the snake can be transformation, but here and in Lenormand, it kind of means that you can, that you definitely, you know, and with the trickster, again, trickster, the light attribute is transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. So I think you do things that people don't expect. And I think you do it from a very core place in your being. You say, okay, you know, you do pull back into yourself, you know, and it does look like you're juggling, or it does look like you have, I think what it is I think what you might do is I think you kind of juggle how something would look versus how you really feel about something. And I think it really tears at you. These two are major arcana. You know, the Hermit really wants to pull back and analyze and think about, okay, what's going on, what can I do? And then Death just wants to transform, and Death actually transforms in kind of a brutal way. I mean, it's, you know, it's a more feared card just because a lot of people don't like changing, and a snake does shed his skin. He becomes something new. So Death and snake can mean transformation. But I think your inner monster is, I don't think you intentionally trick people, but I do think that what it is that I think sometimes you might transform into something very charming. You might put on a face to cover up these really primal desires. So I think the beast just means, you know, the beast is this thing inside of you that you really want to kind of understand and let out. You know, the beast, you know, King Kong was, when he was treated with kindness, he tamed his wildness, but whenever it was pushed down, or he was, tried to be contained, that's when the beast came out, right? And so I think what it is that you juggle kind of the two sides of yourself. I think you juggle this primal inside that you just really want to let out, and then you kind of cover it with a very smooth or a very kind of outer coating that, you see the sleight of hand, like, okay, look at this, don't look at, what's underneath. And so I think that's it, pile one. I think I really like that. I think that's an awesome, that's an awesome inner monster. And please don't let the please don't let the snake or the trickster bother you. I really do think that this is just kind of the faceplate that you show the world, and you can even see it, like this almost looks kind of like a mask, really. And when you look at it, you can see that these two things, both him and the little thinking face and the hermit, almost look the same, right? So but yeah, that's a cool inner monster, pile one. Thank you very much for letting me do your reading. I enjoyed that. And I love King Kong. He's probably one of my favorites. I love the kindness when he falls in love with the girl. I'm a sucker for a love story. All right, so pile number one. Thank you so much. Now pile number two, you were the green one. Let me make sure. Yeah, because Wolfman was last. All right. So pile number two, you got I always think of Wicked. You got the Wicked Witch of the West, and you got the green cards. So pile number two, what is your inner monster? What is pile number two's inner monster? Do I have an odd man out? Oh, you have an odd man out. Sorry. This belongs in this pile. I don't know how it got over there. Sorry, pile number two. Giving you monsters from other piles. Okay, pile number two. What's your inner monster? Ooh. Pile number two. What's your inner monster? Oh, you got the werewolf. Oh, see, I knew we were going to get some odd men out. This is awesome.
Okay, so pile number 2, you got werewolf, and you didn't get your little emoji for werewolf, but didn't get your little sticker for him. But I'm curious now, what is the last pile? Because he's werewolf. All right, so let's go ahead and get one tarot card. So pile number 2, aha, you got the Magician, and oh, Journey. All right, I'm really loving your pile number 2. This is awesome. Okay, what is your dice? Ah, haha, very cool. Okay, so pile number 2, what's your inner monster? Your inner monster is pretty cool. Now, first off, you got the werewolf, which, you know, as you've seen in a lot of lore, what really speaks to me of this is, and also with the sticker that you chose too, is I think, you know, werewolves really are, they're the unpredictable. Their temperament is just, you know, you see with the moon. I was surprised. I thought for sure you might get the moon, you know, from the tarot card. But what the most unnerving thing or the most scary thing about a werewolf is always just how you know that they have like this really good personality, but then the moon, or it seems like, I think what it is that you feel like external forces, your inner monster is that you feel like external forces, things outside of your control, force you to become something that you don't like. It's almost like when you get really irritated about something and you lash out, you finally just like rawr, and you know, you're like, oh God, you know, I didn't mean to get that frustrated. I didn't mean to become that angry animal thing. And I feel that way about your witch too, because I think of, and I'm so sorry, I've never seen the play Wicked, but you know, they talk about how, and you know, the Wicked Witch of the West really wasn't, she wasn't wicked at first, and you know, I always love plots like that. Being a writer, I always love it when, you know, the bad guy isn't just someone who's bad for bad's sake. You know, they actually have character and they have a story. There's a reason, you know, why they flipped out. You know, there's a reason why, you know, that you know, mood swing. Now, I do see that you got your tarot card is the Magician. And we just had a tarot not too long ago for the Magician, and you notice how he can manifest. He's the manifester. You see that he has all the elements on the table, and he has the power. He has the power to, and I'm seeing a lot of the same kind of warm colors in the werewolf. I think what it is that what it's kind of telling you is that yes, you have this response. Sometimes you feel like things are done to you, and when things are done to you, your response is to just, you know, wig out. And it's not that you want to be that type of person. It's just that you know, people force you. You almost get the label of being the bad guy. You know, it's like, okay, someone came along and dropped a house on me and stole my shoes, and actually my friend just pointed this out. He goes, did you know that Dorothy really did kill 2 people? But yet, you know, no one ever questions that. They're like, oh, Wicked Witch of the West, she's the worst, she's the bad guy, right? And I mean that in a jesting way, but it's true, right? You know, but I think what it's kind of telling you is also the fact that in the ship, and I've talked about this before, ships mean journey, and it actually means progress forward. And when you look at this, there's really curling waves. Like, these are big waves. These are not, you know, calm seas. And I think what it is I think what it's telling you is that really the fact that you wig out, the fact that you have a response, the fact that you don't just roll over when things start to trigger you, really is as a testament of your journey. I think your journey in life is to learn that you do have control. Things are not just just happening to you, they're happening for you, right? And that's actually the meaning of the word journey too, is it just kind of means that each one of these explosions, or anytime you feel like you're being the bad guy and you just feel like you don't want to be the bad guy, but you're being the bad guy, believe it or not, it's serving some kind of life purpose for you, and you are learning something from the experience. So I think it's just kind of telling you, don't hate on your inner werewolf. Your inner werewolf is doing a service to you. And it actually is a little bit reiterated by, you got the archetype card that you got was Virgin. And I kind of like this because it says maintaining symbolic purity of heart and spirit. And actually, if you've ever seen movies, I mean, you can even watch, there's some very mainstream movies that are based, that have werewolf characters. But you always notice that, the human that becomes the werewolf is always this really gentle person, right? They're this really, kind, good-hearted person inside. And you can even see he's carrying this woman. He's not sucking her blood. He's not, turning her into dinner. He's carrying her. And it's almost like, I just get this feeling like there's this really pure heart, and it looks like you can even see she's even kind of hugging herself. It really does. And honestly, her hair almost looks kind of like fur, if you really wanted to look at it that way. But I think what it's telling you is just that, yes, your inner monster is that, when the pressures of the outside world get down on you, instead of, you'll own the label. You'll be like, yeah, give me my broom, I'm being a witch right now. Or, if you keep pushing me, keep pushing me, right? just keep that up, because I do think that inside that you really are this gentle soul, and that you go through a lot of waves. You're on this kind of journey, and but the control is with you, though. I do believe that. I do believe that you have the power. You have the power, and just like you see in these movies, they always seem to be talking to the werewolf, trying to talk to the human inside of the werewolf and appeal to them. And now your dice, and I thought this was really interesting too, is that you kind of got the fairy one. This is the fantasy dice. But what I kind of read with that is that it really does kind of play into Virgin. I always giggle when I see fairies, because it's funny how in every single movie they're always like, oh, fairies are Tinkerbell, and they're sweet, and believe it or not, if you look at Celtic lore, the will-o'-the-wisp or the technical fairies can actually be mean little suckers. And it's funny how we always, we make them into this cotton candy, sparkly, all good kind of version. But the fairies are earth elements. And I do think that the werewolves makes you of the earth, but I do think that you see how the pink kind of plays into the virginal. I just think that the solution, or your inner monster, is really the core of your essence. And the other thing that I kind of see is that I kind of see the two sides. Like, I think if you accept it, if you accept the fact that, that you might have a temper, or you might know your limits, just, I guess the solution would be to know your limits, and it's okay. I do that all the time. There are times when I get mood swings big time. I have a Cancer moon, and I have a Cancer Mars conjunct that moon, and it's funny how I know when my buttons are being pushed. God rest her soul. She one of my favorite authors, Donna Cunningham. She passed away a few years ago, but I love the way that she described things. And she'd always say that there are what she calls big dogs in your chart, and that kind of makes me giggle, because werewolves are kind of viewed as dogs when they're on their best behavior. But what she would say is that if you did pick pile 2, and if you do study astrology, look for your big dog planet in your chart. And what it is she always, and I love the way she described this, is that she used to say, you know, if the big dog ain't happy, no one happy, right? You know, so what it is that it's kind of like if you have a planet, like maybe your Mars gets triggered, or just like I explained, my moon is conjunct my Mars, so it's funny if my Mars goes, my moon goes too. So it's you know, my sister calls it like a tsunami of wet towels. It's really not pleasant. But basically, if you really wanted to kind of tame your werewolf, you know your limits. Throw up the warning sign. You know how when cars kind of pull out the sparklers, or when boats, you know, shoot off the sparklers, shoot off the warning bell to say, look, I'm about to flip my stuff, and if you don't want to see this, if you don't want me to pull out my broom, and then in addition to help you, you know, because just remember that you are a good person under all of that. You know, you are not this wicked person, you are not as bad as, and never wear a label, you know, but it would be helpful for you to know your big dog planet and know if someone's pushing your buttons or, you know, triggering your big dog planet. Okay, so pile number 2, that was awesome. I'm really enjoying this. I knew this was going to be a fun reading. And then if technology cooperates and, you know, no more loud sounds from outside. So pile number 3, oh, you got my favorite character in the world. You got Bride of Frankenstein. I love her hair. I would, if I could do my hair like that, if I could pull that off. And then you got the campy creatures with the pretty purple eyes. And so pile number 3, what is your inner monster? Pile number 3. What's pile number 3's inner monster? Oh, you got werewolf again. All right, now I thought that there might be duplicates, so it's okay. And we'll piggyback off this, but you did get werewolf again, and the last pile got werewolf. But, and in the last pile we were talking, well, we'll get into it. Well, let's go ahead and get your cards, and then we'll see. It's different with the cards. Pile number 3, what is their inner monster? Pile number 3, what's pile number 3's inner monster? Okay, what is pile number 3's inner monster? Ooh. Ah. See, this is going to be different. I'm enjoying this. Oh, wow. All right, pile number 3. What's their inner monster? Oh, okay, we're going to go with the top one. We're going to go with it in reverse. And your dice. Pile number 3. What's your inner monster? Oh, I'm seeing a theme. I'm seeing a completely different theme. Okay, so pile number 3, you got werewolf. And again, we were just talking about this. I love werewolf because we were just saying about how werewolf seems to be of 2 personalities, and it seems like when something triggers you, it seems like when external forces kind of set you off, you react, right? It's almost like outside of your control. Now, what I kind of see here is you got the Ace of Cups. You got the Ace of Cups. And then you got the bear, and the bear says it brings joy and strength, but envy if too close. And then you got the damsel, and this very clearly came out in the reverse. So I'm going to read it like it's in the reverse, but we'll show you both. And then your story dice, you got the bassinet, or you got the baby basket, if you can focus on that. Okay. But what I am seeing, and the fact that it's Bride of Frankenstein, you know, the one you picked, I'm seeing you are a mama bear. Because honestly, the Ace of Cups can be new love, but if you've ever seen, you know, if you've ever read the Da Vinci Code, the Ace of Cups can also be the chalice of life. It's the, you know, the cup quite literally can, and, you know, not to be graphic, but it can be a woman's womb. And, you know, and what it is that, you know, the werewolf, you know, and you know, they're being kind of female. And the fact that it's a bear, this can be a very strong person. But what I'm seeing is I'm definitely seeing a mother vibe with the bassinet and the bear, and the chalice, or, you know, the womb. And then what I'm kind of seeing is the damsel, the light attribute was understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. And then shadow attributes is waiting for a knight to provide you with seduction by romantic illusion. And what I'm seeing is, because damsel is in reverse, it's telling me that you are not a damsel in distress. You are a strong woman. And what I'm kind of getting is that maybe you're a mom, you might be a single mom, or if you're not a single mom, you are a very we were just talking about how the werewolf is, you know, when he's in his human form, you always see in the campy movies how they're always talking to the werewolf and trying to talk to the human side, like you know, like the human side's in there somewhere. And what I'm seeing here is that, you know, the fact that the bride of Frankenstein is the spouse, you know, she's the companion of someone. And then, you know, I just really think that you are a very, you are a werewolf. You do exhibit your inner monster. Is that, yeah, when you get pushed too far, you know. I was talking in the Empress reading about how, you know, the Empress in reverse can sometimes be when, you know, when you've asked your kids to clean their room 1,000,000 times and then your head just starts spinning around, you know. So your werewolf might be that when you know, and again, it's about outside triggers. It's like when the moon is full, you know, and you just get pushed too far, that you take no BS is what I'm saying. But I do see that you do it in a very loving way, though, and I'm almost more inclined to say that you kind of when your werewolf manifests, you're not. We were talking about how, you know, it seems like the werewolf, when the werewolf manifests, it's like you feel like you're being taken over, like you're not yourself anymore. And then later, when you go back to being human, you're like, oh God, I turned into an animal, right? I went, what did I do last night? I don't even remember. I was just so angry, or I was so, you know. And what I'm kind of seeing is, I'm seeing that you do that when you're being protective of something that you love. I'm also seeing that, you know, this is most likely children, or, you know, you can see he's almost kind of guarding, you know, this, and he almost looks like he's carrying her like a baby too. That's what I'm kind of getting. And I just kind of get the fact that, you know, you're an independent woman. You know, you could be married and have kids. You don't have to be single to exude this energy. But I think what it is your inner monster is that if you get pushed too far, or if someone messes with your kids, oh, Lord help them, because Mama Bear will come out, and you don't mess with the people I love, and I don't need anyone to save me. I'm very capable of taking care of my own business. And again, it really seems to be surrounding your kids. So, oh, I enjoyed that one too, because, you know, honestly, this reminds me of my sister. She's cute. She is a mama bear, though, if she, you know, not in a bad way, but, you know, if something's going on. But the other part of that too is that, you know, she loves her kids dearly, but she doesn't let them get away with any crap either. You know, so if, you know, if she'll pull you up short, you know, if you're acting stupid. But okay, so pile number 3. I'm really enjoying this. I knew this was going to be a fun reading, and we're keeping it pretty concise. Okay, pile number 4. I'm not used to having 4 piles. This is great. So pile number 4, you got kind of the purplish eye. I really like this eye. Normally I don't like things staring at me. Like, I don't like tarot cards that stare at me, but I don't mind these. I'm thinking the blob is like my spirit animal or something. And then you got the zombie guy. I was kind of thinking that if one of these decks got the blob, that would probably be me. And the only reason the blob, I really think the blob is my inner monster, because you know what it is? Just like tarot, just like New Age, if I get excited about something, I want to absorb every piece of information. I want the you know, the bed sheets, the travel cup, the bobblehead, the you know I like to learn everything, and it's almost like the Blob. Like I kind of, you know, and admittedly, I want to use the word gelatinous in a reading. Is that wrong? Okay, I'll shut up now. All right, pile 4. What is pile 4's inner monster? Pile 4. You see that this is really sticking out. So, well, I'll keep shuffling. If it's meant to come out, it will. But pile number 4. What is your inner monster? Oh, we got werewolf. Okay, now I'm gonna keep shuffling just because we did get werewolf twice before, and I'm not trying to. Do I have a lot of werewolfy people? Because we still have the werewolf on the last pile. Let me go ahead. I did see something kind of peeking out that was different, so I'm gonna keep shuffling. You know, please don't be mad at me. Oh, you got the Demigorgon. Is that the? No, I think that's each of the eyes. Yeah, okay. Awesome. So you got the Demigorgon. All right. Now, he's a little fearsome. If you watch Stranger Things, this is your pile. If you watch Stranger Things. Okay. So the Demigorgon, I'll be honest, this isn't a monster that I'm terribly familiar with, other than watching, movies and TV shows. But the Demigorgon is, he seems like this really fearsome underworld thing, right? And here, let's go ahead and clarify with your tarot. I just think that the eyeball just totally. All right, pile number 4. I'm already getting a story. There's already a theme, and don't be scared. There's no bad cards. Okay. It's actually very positive. Don't look at the initial cards and get freaked out. Okay, pile number 4. Let's get your dice. How does pile number 4, how did they monster? What's their inner monster? What's pile number 4's inner monster? Ooh, okay. Okay, I'm definitely getting a theme here, pile number 4. Oh, I like it. Okay, so pile number 4. You got the zombie. You picked the zombie. That was your sticker, and then you got the Demigorgon. And then for your tarot, you got the 3 of Swords, which I know not many. No one likes getting 3 of Swords, but there's many different readings. We read the cards together. For the Lenormand, you got the Lily, which is one of my favorites. And then for your Archetype card, you got Rebel. And then your dice, you got the care package. You got the, like the airlifted medicine one. So pile number 4, I think that the way that you, your inner demon is really just kind of like the first pile. I think your inner demon is very misunderstood. I think this is what you feel like in relationships, and what it seems like. And the reason I'm saying relationships is because you did get the 3 of Swords, and that's never a fun card. It's a heart pierced by 3 swords. And you can see the reds and the grays. The reds and the grays are very similar. So I think what it is that I think you feel like this guy. I think you're feeling like you are repulsive. And let me explain, I don't mean that in a bad way, but have you ever had those moments where you've just had, you've had attempts at relationships that just did not go despite your best intentions, and then it leaves you feeling like, a little lesser than. Also, it kind of makes you feel like the Demigorgon in the way, and again, I don't know too much about that monster, but what the vibe I'm getting, the feeling that I'm getting, is that he's just a different type of being, right? Just like people who hate spiders or people who hate snakes. It's a phobia, right? Because snakes look scary, spiders look scary. A demigorgon looks terrifying. But the thing about it is, when you think about it, what is a demigorgon? He is a creature that lives in another realm or lives in another world. It doesn't make him good or bad. It just means that that's the kind of creature that he is. He lives in a different place. He lives in a slimy place. He lives in a dark place. And his body has to adapt to that. And, it might make him a predator. It might make him, so it just really kind of makes me feel like either, something about, and I empathize, and not to get too deep on a monster reading, but I have always had moments, and I had a wonderful upbringing, but there were definitely moments in my life where I would watch my friends, and that's what you do sometimes when you're not really given instruction in life. What do? You watch other people. You watch the people that you want to emulate. You watch the people who seem to be doing things right. So I feel like maybe you might have had some failures in love or in relationships, and it's making you feel like you're a troll, and you're not a troll. What it is that you probably, the lily, and again, I told you, and you see how much green, there's red and grays and greens. Even this is kind of gray-green, but the flower, the lily, is a flowering in your working life, but in Lenormand, the lily means maturity. It means learning. It means somebody who has learned a lot. It's someone who has gained from the knowledge in their life. And then when you look at it, you also got rebel, and I like this card. I get this card a lot, and I like it, walk in through the outdoor, But the light attributes of the rebel is challenges authority to effect social change, rejects spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. And the shadow attributes would be rejects legitimate authority out of anger, or rebels out of peer pressure or fashion. So what I am getting is, I'm getting that you feel like you're different. You feel like you're different. And your inner monster, because look at that, You feel like you are not like everyone else. And, and you might have had some painful experiences because of that. Like, it's funny, like when you see Frankenstein, meeting the little girl, it's like sometimes when you are of a different species, or if you've grown up a certain way and you don't know what to do, sometimes your first encounters with people, or even your 12th, 50th, 100th, encounters with people don't go well. But it is telling you that it makes you flower. You do learn. Your bumps and bruises help you learn, and it does give you a maturity. But I think it is also telling you that it is also saying that sometimes when you're feeling frustrated with it, like, I approached this person and they looked at me like I was repulsive, and they rejected me, and that hurt, and I'm just going to reject them before they reject me, or I'm just different and no one's going to accept me, and I'm just going to accept that no one will accept me, and screw them. And I think that is your inner monster. I think your inner monster is that, that you feel like you're different sometimes, or you just feel like you just can't get it right, or you can't get it right according to the norms of everyone else. And honestly, you don't have to put too much stock into the norms of everyone else. Normal is a setting on the dryer, and that is about it. It's a setting on the dryer, and that's about it. But it is telling you that you can learn a lot from that. And you've seen a lot of people do that. The world is full of, all of the weirdos in the world, all of the rebels in the world are usually the most celebrated people. They are the people who dared to be different, right? And you are gonna, and especially when you're young, or when you're you know, you are gonna experience a lot of rejection, because, you know, people, you know, children are cruel, adults are cruel sometimes, and they're just gonna make you feel different. But if you accept that you're different, if you kind of, you know, relish what's different about you, then you will get a lot of, you know, you will exude, you'll be an example to other people of, you know, and people will understand you better, even though you might, you know, if you look different, if you come from a different background, if you come from a spiritual background that not many people understand, you can help other people by staying true to that and staying true to yourself. And but one thing it is kind of telling me, though, is that, you know, just like people run away from zombies, and the way, you know, and just how fearsome he looks, if you feel like you've been getting a lot of rejection, you definitely need a care package. You need to, don't put on that armor of just like, oh, okay, I got rejected, screw them. Care for yourself, you know, care for yourself. Either talk to somebody who does understand you, or do some kind of self-care activity that is meant for you, you know, to care for yourself. I think that's really important. And you know, that's one way to really just kind of embrace the inner you, and also, you know, to not, you know, you don't want to feel like people are running away from you, you know. Everybody, you don't want to feel like you're not this fearsome thing just because you're different, or just because you weren't, you know, handed the book on how to live life. I think no one has been given that book. I would love to have a copy of that. But that was your reading pile number 4. I'm glad we held out for that, because honestly, I was a little nervous about getting that card, but I'm glad we did. I'm glad we did. You know, that, I think that might very well be my favorite reading. I like your reading, Demogorgon. You're the coolest. You're the coolest pile out of all of them, I think. Well, I won't make that call. Okay, okay, don't put any hateful comments. It's Halloween. It's Halloween. This is a fun reading, right? This is just for fun. Okay, pile number 5, our final pile. You got werewolf. Everyone got werewolf tonight. I loved our werewolf piles, though. But you got the red kind of eyeball, and you got the werewolf stickers. So let's go ahead and see what pile number 5. What is your inner monster? Pile number 5. What is your inner monster? Ooh. Oh, you got the blob. Talking, I was just saying in the last video, I hope someone gets the blob. And because, okay, we'll get into this. We'll see if it reads the same way. I was giving a different personal description of the blob. I'm a blob person, I think. I relate. Okay, so the blob. Okay, I'm making note of it, but there was too many cards. Okay. Okay. I think this, I don't normally pick a pile with you, either that or after after it's been up for a week, I might come back to a video and pick a pile with you. I've been very good about that, because what it is I don't want to throw my energies onto your pile. This is your pile. I'm not, you know, but pile number 5. Oh, you saw that, right? Oh gosh. You guys, you're my tribe, pile number 5. Okay, and then pile number 5. Woo. Okay, these two wanted to come out together. Okay, now let's get your dice. I'm not forgetting dice. I love dice. I love dice. Oh, okay. All right, I'm sorry. I hope you're enjoying this as much as I am. I'm feeling so goofy. All right, so pile number 5, our last pile. You got the blob. I love the blob. And I get to use the word gelatinous in a sentence. I'm so excited. All right, the blob. And what it does is the blob, he comes from space and he slowly chases people around, and then he absorbs them. He gets them covered in jello, and then he drains the life force out of it. And the fact that you know, you have a sticker here. Now, the tarot card that you got was the Nine of Cups. And the Nine of Cups is usually like, it's usually a wish fulfillment card. In the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, you see the guy sitting in front of the table with 9 cups. And looking very smug, looking like, you know, he got his dream come true. And here it's a lady who's pouring wine, and she's got, you know, got her 9 cups there. And it's kind of the same meaning. It means a lot of abundance, and you see how she has all this fruit, she has all this wine. It almost looks like she used the fruit to make the wine. And but she almost, it feels like a lot, right? It just feels like it is, her cup overfloweth, right? And, you know, she's got a smirk on her face too, and it's kind of like, yeah, my cup, you know, keep it coming, right? And then your oracle card is the key, and it says unlock secrets, and it reveals success. And then your 2 archetype cards that came out together, and they're both orange. They're Halloween orange, like my ring and everything else. But it's visionary and hero or heroine. And then your dice, you got the guy dropping the ball. You got one of the action dice. I'm so excited to actually get an action dice, because we've been kind of getting. Okay, are we gonna focus? Please focus. All right. I hope you guys can see that. I'm sorry it's been so blurry. But so I think what this is telling me is that your inner monster, and I was telling the last pile, my inner monster, your inner monster is the fact that have you ever heard about being a jack of all trades and master of none? There is a card in this deck that talks about a dilettante. I think it's a French, I might be pronouncing it wrong, but it's someone who dabbles. It's someone who, you know, gets into this and gets into that, and oh goodness knows, if you even watch my Facebook page, I went from being a writer to being an astrologer to being a card maker. You know, it's like I've dabbled in everything, but the overall consistency is ink and paper. I like ink and paper. But I think what the blob is I've seen it referred to as a Jonah and the whale kind of, and that's a little bit of a biblical reference, but have you ever gotten into something? Like, have you ever started watching a TV show? Like, I remember my younger niece got into Doctor Who, like the older Doctor Who straight through to the new Doctor Who. And she just loved it. Like she got, you know, when you find something that you just get so excited about, like me and Oracle. In the last 2 years, I've gotten crazy, and okay, look at the display. I have gotten into Oracle, right? And it's like, it's that kind of excitement. And I think what it is that you feel like your inner monster is that you spread yourself a little too thin. Because what it is you get excited about something. You want to learn all about it. You want to absorb the, you know, like, okay, so a new subject, you want to absorb it. You want it, you know, to be part of it. You want to understand everything about it. You want to kind of, you know, take it into yourself and then just, you know, extract every nuance of understanding about this subject. And if you're a learner, which I'm a learner, I think you're a learning type of person, but I do kind of feel like this might be something that you just got excited about. Like maybe you learned how to play an instrument, or maybe you got into a really good TV show, and then again you want the bed sheets, you want the coffee mug, you want the bobblehead, you want all of it, and you just want to learn about everything about it. What it is that the Nine of Cups also means excess, because when you look at it, she's got a lot of wine there, right? That's not exactly a healthy amount of wine, or all those cups for her, right? Like, dude, you're gonna be kind of, you know, get a designated driver. Also, the keys to success. So I'm kind of seeing that, you know, what it is that when you get into something, you get into it kind of whole hog, and you get really excited about it, and you want to learn everything about it. But what happens is, and believe it or not, when you get into a new subject, it really does unlock a lot of knowledge. The way that you you know, absorb it. You want to be a part of it. You want to learn everything about it, and you want to know. I remember when I was growing up, I was watching a TV show called Zorro, and I wanted to read the entire history. Like, I read the biography. I learned about all the different TV shows from the 50s straight on to today. I think what it is that when you get excited about something, you do want to kind of just extract every understanding that you can of it. It is a lot of excess. It's a lot. You're taking in. It's almost overkill, if I had to use a word. But it unlocks a lot of knowledge. You learn a lot. You understand something. You become skilled at something. And here I'm seeing that, and just like it might be saying, I mean, again, I really think I had in the Empress pile number 3 of How to Tarot. I think pile number 3 were readers. I got a really strong feeling like other card readers might be watching. I'm getting the feeling like there might be a few card readers, and please let me know in the comments if you're one of my fellow, if you're one of my tribe, one of my soul symbol siblings, my soul sibs. If you're out there and you're watching this and you actually read cards and you kind of feel this way, but you kind of got visionary and you got hero. And what that kind of tells me is, like, visionary says the capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others. Oh God, I love that. And hero is passion for a journey or personal empowerment. God, that's awesome. And I think that's what you do. I think you take an old concept. That's the other thing that I love to do too. Just like I was saying about like Zorro. Zorro hasn't been redone in like forever. I think the last time that there was a TV show for it was like the 90s. But when you get excited, you know, about an old show and learn everything about it, and then you want to make it new again, or you get excited about some kind of subject. Maybe you study, you know, I don't know, the traditions of the ancient Maya. Maybe you study underwater basket weaving. But what you do is you get so excited about some kind of specialty thing that you really learn everything about it. You really uncover a lot of nuances about it, almost to an extreme. You know, you go all in, and then that is also a lot of Jupiter influence too. If you have a strong Jupiter, either that or in your chart, if you have Jupiter accessing or making a positive, it doesn't have to be necessarily in Sagittarius, but if you have Jupiter in your chart making some kind of contact to your Mercury, which is your learning, your mouth, the way you see the world, oh honey, you'll be that naturally, you know, really exuberant about learning person. Now, the only thing that I see, and again, you got the dice, and your dice, you can kind of see if this will focus. It was not focusing. Okay. You see, it's the dude dropping the ball. And I do not think that you would ever drop the ball, but I think what happens is when you do kind of get so enthralled in something, at some point the excitement has to ebb, right? At some point there's really you're gonna, you know, max out 5th gear and just really not have anywhere else to go. You'll be, you know, past the apex of your excitement for it. You'll reach kind of a limit. And what might happen is, I'm also seeing what might happen is that sometimes you overcommit yourself, and that is very much a Jupiter thing. And it isn't a real intentional thing, but what you do is you get so excited about it, and maybe like I'll use a card reader example. I get, you know, so excited about card reading, and actually this week is a perfect example because I'm actually posting 6 videos. 6 videos, and and that won't be the norm. That's not going to be every week. Sorry, please don't commit me to that. I love you guys, but that's a bit much. But what happens is, what if you start saying, oh, well, I'm so excited about this, I wanted to show you everything about tarot, and I want to post every day. Eventually, you're going to run out of subjects to post about. I mean, you could recycle them, of course, or, you know, life gets busy, school gets busy, you know, you get busy, and you've realized that you've overcommitted yourself. And it is, and now instead of you you know, absorbing all of the knowledge from the thing that, you know, the subject that you love, or the TV show that you love, or the, you know, the concept that you love. Now it seems like the concept that you love is sucking the life force out of you, right? Because now you've maybe overcommitted yourself, or maybe you're not learning at the same level, and eventually you're not becoming disinterested, but you're just not, you know, you're not having the same impact, and it's starting to wane a little bit. So there's a little bit of risk of you feeling like you dropped the ball, like you bit off more than you can chew. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting, but that's definitely not a bad thing. And again, all of these readings have been very good. I don't think any of them were ever bad, but I do think that if you had to, and again, this is your inner demon, or your inner, not your inner demon, your inner monster. What's my inner monster? And honestly, I think the blob is pretty cool. All right, well, pile number 5. This was really awesome, and we kept it under an hour. Oh my gosh, you know, kudos. We did a really good job, and I totally loved that reading. I got such a kick out of it. We did have a lot of werewolves, but you know what? We're the werewolf pack. That's what we'll do. Now, please let me know if you enjoyed this. I had a really good time. I hope you also enjoyed the Who's Haunting You video. That one was a little bit more of a personal one, but I'm definitely going to try to do these videos more often. I have a special video coming up this Sunday. So you will get your regular weekly energies video on Saturday, and then please stay tuned, because I'm going to announce it on Saturday so you'll know. But oh, I'm super thrilled. I can't wait to share this with you. And it's similar to this. It's a very special theme, and it is personalized to you. You pick a pile, and we're gonna go on a journey together. But please let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you would like me to do this again, you know, please let me know. I am going to be giving the card game to my mom, but if it comes down to it, you know, I can definitely try to find some movie monsters cards to do this with. Maybe she'll send it back to me, and we'll do this again. But please let me know what you think, and I hope you have a very happy and safe Halloween. You know, please, you know, stay warm out there if it's chilly, and I'll see you on Saturday. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.